their staff in their hand, and they were, ready to go, basically. And that's how they ate that meal. So I think mindset, he was getting them ready to go. I'm not sure they knew what they were getting ready for, but I'm not sure that was that important, because Yahweh was going to be leading them, and all they had to do was follow.
And Kristen, they while they had it harsh in Egypt, they must have had some things pretty good, because when they were complaining in the desert, they were saying, "Well, why don't we go back there? We had leeks and onions by the Nile, and and everything else." But I think that just like Christians in this country love the United States, it's such a good place to live, and a lot of times the patriotism and other things in this nation get in the way. It has to become bad for us, just like it became bad for the Israelites in Egypt. They went from kind of a mediocre slavery to a vile hatred and whipping and killing and everything else, and they were experiencing. So maybe that's what they got changed their mind and made them want to go. I'm thinking,
I think so, and I think that they got used to the situation they were in.
Right.
It's a comfort level you get used to, because it's like all you've ever known. Just like this life that we live is all we've ever known. And to say to somebody, in a month, you're going to have to leave your house, your car, everything you've ever worked for. You're going to have to pack up whatever you can wear on your back, and you're got to go.
Right.
You have to leave the country. That's a huge thing to think about, and to adjust to that mindset is huge.
That's right.
And for these people, they've been in this country as slaves for over 400 years.
Right.
And this is all they've ever known. And they have basically they had a home. Like you said, they had, delicacies. They had onions, leeks, cucumbers. They had the fruits, the vegetables. They had cantaloupes probably. They had all kinds of things. They had fish.
Their animals they could slay.
Yeah, they could keep animals. Had, sheep and goats probably. I don't know what they had, but they had stuff that they could keep as well. Yeah, they worked awful hard. They worked really hard, but they had a home. They had families. They had, a place that was permanent. And to them, it was home. It was life.
Right.
And it's anyway. And it was hard for them to think of anything else. But I think it was exciting for them to think that they would be free,
right.
That they wouldn't be under the tyranny, the harsh treatment that they, I'm sure, endured lately by the slave masters, where they were, like David said, whipping and sometimes killing, and there was much more harsh treatment as of late in their lives, and I don't think they understood that very much, and they were blaming Moses for that, Moses and Aaron,
right.
And they had some anger toward him for that, and they didn't understand a lot of that. And when you think about the crowd mentality, you can just imagine some of the talk that was going through the camp.
Oh, sure.
So, anyway, these, they had the Passover meal, and then they were told, okay, they were told that's the day they're leaving, and then they left, and a lot of the Egyptians went with them, because they saw the glory of God. They saw that with their own eyes. They saw the favor that he showed to the Jews, and they saw that, wow, these are God's people. This this deity that shows favor to this people. We want to be a part of those people,
That's right.
And so they went along with him. And so they left. And then Pharaoh, after the people had left, came to his senses, and he realized, what have I done?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I just let all these people go. What a fool I am, And he probably personally went out and got his horse ready and got it together, and apparently 600 chariots.
Wow.
Yeah, went racing after those people.
And if you go to the Red Sea, to the right part these days, you can still see them.
Yep, you sure can. Yeah. They're buried in there. Yeah. So anyway, they catch up with them, and we all know the story how they cross, and the bad guys get buried in the water and drown.
Right.
And but the being in the desert was tough. A lot of people. It was something that, of course, they were not used to, and they didn't know how to handle that.
Right.
How do you feed all those people, and how do you give them water? And I mean, there's no water in the desert. There's no food out there, and they only have what they brought with them. Uh-huh. So eventually, they're going to get hungry, and they're going to get thirsty, and they're going to start complaining, mm-hmm. and complained a lot. So.
Yeah, they did.
I was listening to a program about this, and one of the guy was just like, "Okay, do it with me now, people. Why did you bring us out into the desert to make us starve out here? Why didn't you just leave us in Egypt so we could?" Why did you bring us out here to bury us in the desert? It's like, okay, one more time. It's like, oh my gosh. And when I think, if I was one of them, I'd probably be right there with them complaining, Oh,
sure.
It's that crowd mentality thing, But anyway, but the whole thing is that I was listening to this guy talk about it. He was saying, this is why we read the Word. This is why we read the Torah. Because when we read the Word, we see what happened before.
Right.
Okay. It's not just a bunch of stories. We see how Yahweh brought these people out. We see the miracles that He did to bring them out, and we see how people just forgot about and started complaining again, and then He would do this other great miracle, and then they'd forget, this miracle, and that may be us in the future. Yahweh may perform these fantastic miracles for us to bring us out of horrible situations, and then we might start whining and complaining about, oh, we don't have any water, oh my gosh, we're starving to death, what are we going to do? Why didn't you just leave us in Eugene, Oregon, so we could die there, and
Eugene? I don't know.
But I had a house there, stuff like that. But, and then what does God do? He gives them manna. Mm-hmm. He says, you want to eat? Okay, I'm going to give you meat in the evening, and I'm going to give you manna day.
Right.
And then He says, but only pick it today, as much as you need for the day. Only for the day. Because if you try to save it for the next day, it's going to rot. It's going to have worms in it, and it's going to rot. Mm-hmm. And to me, that says Yahweh takes care of our daily needs.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Every day. We just need to trust him for our daily needs, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we need to trust him every day. Because, you know, we don't, you know, it is a daily thing, because it is, what did Yeshua say? You know, don't worry about tomorrow. Today has enough problems of its own.
Exactly.
You know, just worry about today. I mean, not, and you didn't even say just worry about today, but just take care of today's problems. You know, don't think about it.
That's in the Beatitudes, as a matter of fact, I think, isn't it? Because he said,
yeah,
because he was saying, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, which is neat.
Uh-huh.
Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And these aren't good things. He's not saying blessed are the rich people, blessed are you because you have 5 televisions in your house. He's saying, you know, these are all things which are burdens that people carry.
Yeah.
Blessed are they that do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they that are persecuted for righteousness' sake, because theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And then he goes on to say, blessed are you, and men shall revile you and persecute you, and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Then he says, rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. And he goes on to say how we're the salt of the earth, and you are the light of the world. And so, let's see. He says, I think not that I come to destroy the law of the prophets. I come not to destroy, but to fulfill. And he says, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will no wise pass from the law, or the Torah, till all be fulfilled. And anyway, he gave us these things because he knew that people were going to be meek, people were going to be poor in spirit, people were there's people that are going to be pure in heart, and you have to live through the first few things to be that way. But hunger and thirst for righteousness, blessed are you when you mourn, and you know these aren't all great things. You know, they're the first 4 or 5 of them are you know, he's trying to, you know, just tap us on the, or you know, what do? You rub the back and you try to comfort people and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's what he's doing. So yeah, it's important to realize that, you know, that he knows life's going to be a drag.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, you know, but the thing about it is that, you know, the Word is where we find these truths. The Word is where we find this comfort. The Word is, yes, we were talking earlier about how some of the words that Yeshua spoke and how Yahweh tells us, they're harsh. But isn't speaking the truth, letting us know what's going to happen, isn't that a loving thing to do?
Sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying to say, hey, this is what's going to happen. I'm trying to give you a warning. I'm trying to help you understand that this is coming down the road. Mm-hmm. I want you to be ready. And this is how you get ready. Part of it, you know, I'm helping you to be ready for what's coming. Mm-hmm. And he's gracious and merciful to us to help us to understand that. And don't be afraid to read that stuff. If you think it's scary or you think it's frightening or something, it's like, it's not frightening. It's fascinating. I think you just need to change your mindset on it and understand that, yes, it's coming down the road. Don't know if you'll be here when it happens. I mean, none of us know if we're going to be here when that happens.
That's right.
Heck, we don't even know if we're going to be here tomorrow. You know, we need to understand that Yahweh knows best. So if he put it in his word, he wants us to read it. Mm-hmm. And we should be faithful to him to read his word. He's faithful to us in everything.
That's right.
And so he's faithful to give us food every day. When in the first Exodus, he took care of them on a daily basis. For 40 years he fed them manna. in the desert. And every